Someone recently asked us why we don't like the new ballroom being built in the White House. We have many reasons, but a huge one of them is that it is a symbol of negligence and poor priority setting. It is a monument to the steps that this administration is taking to enrich itself while ignoring the roots of our nation. Millions, next month, might lose their food stamps and WIC, all because this administration and its supporters won't sit down and hammer out a reasonable deal with the Democrats that will preserve those same people's health care. The Republican Party is presently waving the food security of our nation over our heads, all over an argument where they are trying to diminish our health security. And during all of that, our country has gathered up $1 trillion more in the national debt, impoverishing us all the more in its own ways. And so the common people are suffering for it. But this might sound, to you, like so much more left-wing talk. The Trump administration is doing bad, the Philosophy is once again yammering on about shit they don't know about. And what does David A. Gray actually know about the workings of the lower classes and how the Trump administration could possibly be hurting the people anyway? Much as we dislike resorting to personal stories, as you don't know us and we don't know you, as you don't know if we're lying and we have every reason to stretch the truth as a future politician, we've been told by many good people that stories sell, and that we need to let the people who might be voting for us know who we actually are. Which is why we put this video on both the farm and the politics channel. Because it is a matter important to both fields. You see, we're a rabbit farmer in coastal Oregon. We live about halfway between Lincoln City and Tillamook. The county is a deeply red area, and most of our friends and neighbors in the area are delightful Trump-voting people who care deeply about their families and communities. Despite political differences, we work hard to hold each other up and support each other's side projects. Services are traded back and forth freely, and neighbors give to each other what they can because they understand it overwhelmingly enriches what we out here call the neighborhood. Our neighbors down the street provide our farm with coals from their orchards. Those are the fruits that can't be sold, so we can save feed prices on our birds and rabbits. In return, we pay them back with meat and furs, manure, and eggs. We have a roof that needs fixing, so the neighbor, a construction guy, does some work on it in exchange for the matron's delightfully canned goods. We fly American flags, we shoot guns on the 4th of July, we celebrate the birth of children in the community, we get together for festivals and events to entertain the tourists, and we work hard to keep it all going. Here in this area, we stand strong, and we stand together. This, so we are told, is a responsible and patriotic life. This is noble. This is the American dream. This is part of what makes us the greatest country in the world. We live humble but hard-working lives that nobody can look down upon, because we're the ones that feed them. We maintain this country. America is an agrarian nation, no matter what the city folks like to tell themselves to sleep better at night. And we're proud to be in the country, helping to maintain our fair republic by feeding people within it. But it's not a very economically fruitful life right now. We're all poor out here. We're all on food stamps, and some of us are on SSI and disability. We all struggle to feed ourselves well-rounded diets and keep the lights on. Life on the farm is hard and sometimes painful, and on rare occasions, you can get seriously injured. Last year, we actually broke our spine in a crash on the way to get feed for the rabbits, because the roads were slick and the maintenance around here is poor. Life, in general, is tough out here, where there aren't many resources, and over 60% of the American farming class is over the age of 50. It's an aging demographic that needs the support to maintain productivity for the rest of America. Money is tight, and gas is expensive, so we need to make trips to town sparingly. Distances are far away from civilization, so we need to make the most of our connections online and pull people in from surrounding counties because we're starting to run out of clientele close by. And food costs are still expensive for everyone, especially out in the country, where there aren't many choices to keep the local businesses competitive. And this government shutdown is absolutely risking it all, because those food stamps are about to end. And if they don't, Trump gets his way, and that medical care we need in case we break our spine again might go away instead. So we eat, or we get medical care. The government gets to choose? We don't even get to choose for ourselves? We're working hard out here, doing what the Republican Party is saying we're supposed to, being a responsible, dutiful American and doing our best, paying our taxes, going around trying to make a life for ourselves with hard work, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. Why do we have to answer for that when the Republicans are ostensibly supposed to be the primary political supporters of the farmer class? But once again, this is just a story. You can choose to believe it or you can choose not to. Our existence as a rabbit farmer, however, as you can see from our farm channels and commercials that appear on our other channels, is confirmed. That much is not up for debate. We are part of the farming class. So let's break it down in strict facts and numbers for you. Because we can all agree that a government shutdown and rising national debt is just bad for the economy, right? Well, let's talk about how that affects small rural farmers like us. You see, it's bad enough when you're an egg farmer or a generic pork farmer in the country, because you have to jockey with local markets who will always upcharge the product you sell them to exorbitant levels because, again, they don't have competition out in the rural areas. And that really just takes off of your bottom line. So we have to convince people via signs and internet ad campaigns to come out of their way to our gorgeous rural locale in order to buy higher quality, usually more expensive goods. But we're a rabbit farmer, and rabbit is a specialty market. Here on the farm, we primarily sell 4 things. We sell rabbit meat, rabbit fur, rabbit poop, and rabbits as pets. And a suffering economy is not good for any of that. Rabbit meat is a specialty meat, and while our meat prices are indeed quite competitive by the pound with beef and chicken, it requires people to go well out of their way to get it, artificially inflating the price for the customer because of travel. In a poor economy, the average consumer doesn't have the money to humor that sort of trip, so will instead go to their local supermarket to get poorly treated hormone-pumped factory farmed chicken and pork instead to save money. This both denies us, the farmer, a customer base, and makes our country less healthy. We thought that the Trump administration wanted America to get healthy again, but our lean, organic, farm-raised rabbits are getting pushed aside for unhealthy, stressed, hormone-pumped factory meat and making our nation sick as a result. Similarly, untreated rabbit furs are a market for a specialty hobby, tanning. The fur is very high quality, and our rabbits are humanely slaughtered to ensure that they feel no pain upon death. Except for the head and feet, you'll get the entire pelt of good size and be able to use it for everything from blankets and clothing to parchment and bookbinding purposes. Unfortunately, this sort of hobby is something people only practice when they have the money and time to do so. In a struggling economy, people do not have the time, energy, resources, or attention to dedicate themselves to specialty crafts like tanning, bookbinding, sewing, and quilting with natural animal products. And so, that portion of our industry falls also to the wayside. But what about manure, you ask? Most of the large-scale farming industry in America is fairly insular about that. The factory farms in the city wash all of their animal waste into giant tanks that they take out to the mega farmers in the country who spray it over huge fields of corn, wheat, and oats for fertilizer. This means that small farmers like us have to aim our manure, once again, at smaller consumers, normally city folk from the suburbs. Rabbit poop is basically the best natural fertilizer you can get your hands on, over 2% nitrogen by volume. In the business, it's often called gardener's gold. It's dry and easy to transport, and you can put it right on your garden without having to age it. But in the failing market that the Trump administration is leading us into, housing is too expensive for the average person to humor a garden, instead being pushed into inner-city low-rise apartments and townhomes that leave no room for planting space, often without even a balcony or dog run. And even if they had the land for it, the constant hustle and bustle of this late-stage capitalist nightmare we all live in leaves them with little time to focus on the finer things of life, like growing a really nice garden and experiencing the literal fruits of your labor. That side of our business, of course, falls on its head. And so we're left with selling live rabbits. You'd think that would be easy. The things practically sell themselves, especially if you can put them in the hand of a child right next to their parent. The mom or dad will just hear, "Oh my god, can we have a rabbit? Can we have a rabbit? Can we have a rabbit?" for the next month. But rabbits don't really die that fast, and it's not difficult to make a few more if you have at least a pair of them. Moreover, the internet is full of anti-farmer sites full of rabbit breeders that will gleefully kick us out of their group the moment they find out that we aren't some bippy Karen in a gated community in Beaverton. Some groups outright ban farmers in their rules sections because they feel that farming is, for some reason, an immoral occupation that is hurting the rest of society. So we don't really get that many repeat customers, and our business requires us to journey, virtually speaking, greater and greater distances to find new clients on a regular basis. Gas is more expensive, people have less time to travel, and now, of course, more people are living in apartments that don't allow pets. The bad economy that is blossoming under Trump and his administration's greedy eyes has facilitated a housing crisis that is cutting in on our bottom line. Because people can't afford places to live that allow pets, we can't sell pet rabbits. So don't come at us and tell us, "Oh, that's just lefty shit. You have Trump derangement syndrome." This is a very real systemic problem facing the mostly right-leaning farming class of America, the founding class of our nation, and once upon a time, a hallowed occupation everyone in our nation sort of just understood was necessary to keep this fair republic going. Last time we checked, Trump said that he would help farmers, but he hasn't. He's holding our nation hostage, arguing with the Democrats about whether or not they will let him destroy our food security or destroy our health care. Meanwhile, while this is all playing out, he made a promise that he would not touch the East Wing, that the new ballroom would not even be touching the old building, that it would be a separate building entirely. And here we are, seeing him annihilating historical architecture so that he can entertain wealthy businessmen who want to run the nation like a business. Like a business! We assume some people here have worked in retail, or food service, or tech support, perhaps? We've seen how Walmart treats their employees. We've watched Amazon force their delivery drivers to pee in bottles to meet their quota or be fired. If our country is allowed to be run like a business, getting off work won't be getting off work anymore, and our government will treat you like a Walmart employee even after you go home. If you can afford to have a home, instead of living in a company town. And what happens to the farmers in such a world? Nobody will have the money for specialty foods, specialty hobbies, specialty skills, or doting on pets. Life will be working. The government will be run, after all, like a business. Think about that for even half a moment, and you'll realize that such a world would be a living hell, an absolute waking, walking nightmare. If you think the political elites don't care about you now, wait until they're the CEOs of your everyday life. And we're sorry to say, what happens if the farmers go? What happens if the farmers just stop giving you our produce? What happens if the farmers realize just how bad both parties are treating them and decide they're going to do it for themselves and keep all this food nobody appreciates them making? You want to starve? What, you're going to take the food from the over-armed, hyper-territorial farming class of the American rural territory? Yeah, good luck with that. Who's gonna feed that army you're coming out here with? The elites up top are so busy staging armed conflicts in the cities that they don't realize that even that is fueled by the farmers. You live off the work of the farming class. And Trump ruining this nation with policies that overwhelmingly hurt the common people and enriching his billionaire business mogul allies is impoverishing this class. Surely, we farmers are starting to see it by now. You cannot tell us that you don't see that both parties hate our very demographic to its core. The Republicans may pay lip service to us, but they only care about the money they can get from rich donors at the top of society while keeping us uneducated, underserved, and obedient to their propagandistic demands. And the upper crust Democrats are so locked up in the isolation of their suburban sprawl that half of them are publicly adamant that farmers aren't even necessary. They don't even know where their food comes from. They think it's made at the store. And this ballroom, it is a monument to the lies and negligence that the Trump administration is wallowing in at all times. The very ballroom itself is a lie. It is a new construction built over the destruction of old American architecture in the capital of our nation. Old American values, old American culture. Our culture. It is a monument to the fact that we cannot trust even basic claims from the Trump administration or from the man himself. Like that the new ballroom won't even touch the old building. Like that he will help the farming class. Instead of hashing out an agreement that serves everyone, Trump is building a private meeting place for his special rich friends. That ballroom doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve the American people. It certainly doesn't serve the farmers. Why should we like it? Why should we approve of it? Why should we have anything but a problem with it? We've been waiting all our life for people to fix things, for politicians to do what they say they will do. But it's not happening. Instead of fixing things for the common people, Trump is building himself a party house. He's tearing down the old American values and putting up his own privately funded business mogul ballroom that nobody but his wealthy investors will ever get to see. And we're down here. And things are getting worse. And he's doing nothing about it. This isn't lefty shit. We just want to keep our fucking lights on and our business going. We aren't some charity case or a welfare baby. We're not some left-wing lunatic looking for handouts. We're not claiming to be entitled to anything. We've worked hard to be a good, responsible American citizen, and we continue to do our part every single day. We just want our president to fulfill his side of the deal. We want him to do his part. But instead, he's making a literal monument to his own lies. A gold-plated ballroom while people in America die. We're tired of waiting for someone to do something that will help the people down here and the roots of society. So we're stepping up to do it ourselves. And we recommend everyone else do the same. We recommend, just like farmers do, we step away from MAGA, away from Trump, away from the Republicans and the Democrats. And we recommend that we stand strong, that we stand together. Let's all come together and vote progressive. Let's come together behind David A. Gray for President of the United States of America in 2028 and vote Bull Moose.